what are the general misconceptions that we see as part of AI, so on, so is getting eradicated, I'm losing. So there may be misconceptions about the job that is in place. Do you see some of those so that you can call out those misconceptions and they can be aware that that is not right?
Okay.
I mean, any of the panel can pick up that question?
Yeah, I'll just start and then I'll just hand it over. So one misconception is that AI will take away my job, because now with ChatGPT, you tell them a question, they will write you the answer. The point that I'm trying to make is, AI will not take away your job, but a person who knows how to use AI is likely to take your job. So what you need to do is you need to be sure that you upskill in AI. And I think that's what one misconception about AI is. But you need to go out there, prioritize your time. Your time is your most precious resource. Don't waste it in whatever you are wasting it on.
To add to that, and I know our topic is AI, but there are of course other areas as well, right? So for people who are interested in cloud computing, cybersecurity, data analytics, right? Digital marketing. Do you know how important digital marketing is, right? Even on the creative side, social media, because we are utilizing that more and more. So all of these things, there are multiple areas, but it all boils down to the fact that there are ways to learn. So there are avenues to learn. So the only person who's not, the only thing that's going to limit you from succeeding is yourself. That is what I can say.
Thank you so much. I'm coming to this group now because I'm sure these are the people who are working very closely with hardcore on building something from scratch on AI. So what may be some of the misconceptions you may have observed that you'd like to pass on?
So, though we are having this session here, and as my peer has told, it has been from the Google Translator generative AI is there. It is only the tip of the iceberg here. It is the adoption of AI is still low to the scope it can. If you look at the patent filings in the last 1 or 2 years, it has gone up by 16%, or the patent awarded has gone up by 16%, and there are 30% in the filing process. Which, when companies invest on patent, is because of the future opportunities, because they have to market back having the patent on it, right? So this is actually only the tip of the iceberg that we are seeing here. So be it in the AI world, there is a lot more to evolve, a lot more to learn. And as Suja has mentioned, AI is one part of it. You cannot have AI just by itself. You need to have it on the cloud. You need to bring in the data from different sources. You need to have DevOps. You need to have various other processes to get to it. You have to have data engineers and whatnot. So there is a lot more associated technologies also required than AI.
Thank you.
We were over the last 1.5 hours talking about how to keep ourselves updated in AI and be literate and know better AI tools in depth to sustain. But the overall opportunity base in the country is increasing. It is not about engineering solutions or C++ coding or AI or the IT industry alone. There are a lot of other industries in the country which will flourish in the coming years. Quite unique when compared to the other parts of the globe. The Indian opportunity base is going to be doubling or tripling in the coming years. That is for sure. Today, from the engineering colleges, there are a lot of banks who recruit in good numbers, paying the best of salaries. There are opportunities in banks, there are opportunities in the creative space, there are opportunities in the non-banking financial sector, in healthcare. There are a lot of areas where AI intervention is not as severe as in the IT industry. മലയാളത്തിൽ പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഭരതനെ പോലെയോ പത്മരാജനെ പോലെയോ ബേസിൽ ജോസഫിനെ പോലെയോ തിരക്കഥ എഴുതാൻ എ ഐക്ക് പറ്റില്ല. അവരെ പോലെ സിനിമ ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ എ ഐക്ക് ഒരുപക്ഷെ അടുത്ത കാലത്തെങ്കിലും സാധിക്കില്ല. സോ ക്രിയേറ്റീവ് പീപ്പിൾ still have a chance. The feel that you can create among the audience is still beyond the scope of AI to intervene and capture. So at least for the next so many years, people with creative mindsets, with creative skills, will find their opportunities. And we will have to look beyond the IT industries or the IT companies. There are opportunities all over around you. Only thing is you need to look around, find, and place yourself there.
Thank you, team. So I just would like to top up one thing on what the panel has expressed. See, it's the basic misconception that we should avoid is that we should not be fearing. You should not fear not, we should head on. Then you will see something will happen and eventually you will learn. So this is one other element I would like to just add to the panel's overall perspectives. Anybody has some questions to ask? If somebody can volunteer to help pass on the mic to those who, if you may raise hand, somebody may, those who have a question may raise hand.
Every coin has two faces. So what are the potential risks associated with over-reliance on AI in decision making? How it can be mitigated?
Your question is, what are the risks associated with AI?
Over-reliance on AI in decision making.
Okay, over-reliance on AI in decision making. Okay, I believe largely we touched upon cars versus banking everywhere. I think any of you can pick up that, Suja or PG.
When I speak from the area in which I work right now, from the industry where from I come, the risk is always there. Risk is there with any technology intervention or any new disruptions will have risk associated with it. But it is for technologists and the industries and the teams who work on AI to address those risks also. Basically, AI is whenever a new technology like AI, it has happened over the years. Whenever a new technology intervention happens and disruption happens, the risks are also there. We have come through this in all our technology innovations. But then there are teams which will work to mitigate those risks. And that will form a new opportunity. That will create new opportunities for people who will be risk analysts, risk assessors, and then who will come up with solutions to address those kind of risks. So that is a natural cycle which will happen. Risks are there. We cannot deny that. Any new innovation or any new technology intervention to the existing processes will carry some risks. Basically, companies always carry risks. Whenever companies progress, all progressive companies carry risk as one of their processes in the organization. There is a risk management team, there is a risk assessment team, there is a risk mitigation team inside every organization, in every industry. So this will naturally address these issues. Your point is correct. This kind of a massive technology intervention to the tune of artificial intelligence will definitely have risks associated to it, and it is for the technology world to estimate that and counter it. It will differ from industry to industry and it will differ from situation to situation. Already, ma'am told about the current risk that we are facing, the current, the negatives that we are already facing in much severity. And then we'll have to come up with technology interventions to address those, as well as governance interventions to address those risks.
Obviously, the question is answered against the enterprise. As an individual, if you try to fake something using AI, the risk is on you. But for enterprises, when it comes with the solutions where AI models are there, AI solutions are there, there is a component called as governance also which comes into it, which actually manages the risk part of it. It also brings in different dimensions. It is actually the law of using data between countries to countries is different. So all those things are being handled part of the governance part of it.
Thank you.
To add to George and Sree's point, so that is the enterprise governance, but that is why the regulations are there for, right? government, there are public regulations, and there are a lot of different think tanks coming up with, interventions, policy interventions, because at the end of the day, we cannot let machine rule the world. It has to be because of these foreseen risks, foreseen and unforeseen. And, just take the case of ChatGPT, right? How many times, yes, it gives you a structure and all of that, but you cannot take that answer from what you get and pass it on, because obviously there are errors there, and that's where the human intervention comes in. So everything, whatever you do, comes with a risk, but that is why there are multiple levels of governance, both internally, if it is organization, personally, if it is, if it's something personal that you're doing, and publicly, right? Like from the government level, regulations, so saying all that, that's something that, we learn as we go along, and it gets better as we go along. Yeah.
Thank you. So,
I'll just add. So coming from the part of the country that I am from, just to share with you, there's one restaurant which advertised first drone delivery restaurant in Gurgaon. So that's high tech for you, right? There's a drone coming to your apartment and delivering your food. And I'll tell you something that happened 2 days back. So this drone was 15 kgs weight, and the food that was ordered was 5 kgs. And this drone, in the middle of the journey, crashed because it saw some obstacle and it couldn't fathom what to do, and it just crashed, and it broke just the dish of a house. Thankfully, no lives were lost. But that's what, as other panelists were saying, this is something that happens when there is a toddler technology and you're using it. Incidents will happen, and that's where new opportunities come. So there will be now algorithms which will work to make sure that these drone deliveries are safer. There'll be drone operators. There'll be a need for people to write better code, better software. So I think very good question there, and we already are seeing how this how this technologies can be harmful to us. So yeah.
thank you, panel. I believe one element that is, gaining so much prominence with the organization now is ESG. Some of you may have heard of. So it has large implications on governing the technology that we build at the organization level a lot. And the ESG's impact is another version of how they attract talent also. So there is enough approaches in place. Obviously, there are risks, like all of them mentioned, but there are approaches to navigate or sail that through. If you look at the current, the recent one now, the BARD has now upgraded. Now they have rolled out the Gemini, where one of the call out they say is that whatever may be that least element, so they call about the ethics that had to deal with as part of the earlier element has been now upgraded with the adoption of the new thing, where the reasoning has incorporated more. So that ethical element is taken care. So organizations are adopting to that. And like George very rightly pointed out, if it is an individual level, yes, it is very much open, which is beyond control. But obviously there are regulations to sail that through. So thank you so much for that question. I believe we should give a goodies to that question. Right, great. I saw one hand raise somewhere there. If that question we can take.
So good evening, sir. My name is Sajida, and I am a student of DC School of Management Technology. So let me ask you a question that is, as AI is so much important in all the industries, is it high time to integrate it to the academics so that every students can develop educate in using this AI, and they will be so efficient in using AI? So isn't it possible and change the education system?
Changing education system is a tough deal, but
And
yes,
currently you don't have it actually. I'm
some colleges.
some college. Again, to be very frank, I have actually been part of. Yeah.
I think there is some work that is being done on this account, and there are many colleges who are, in fact, the UGC has also mandated that MOOCs you can take up these extra courses, which it's not so easy to change curriculum so fast in colleges. You understand that. But there are courses which are available on these technologies, which you can take up. And now it's a mandate that they can be part of your course. You can get credits for these courses also. It depends on you as an individual to take up this course and get credits for it. It's mandated by the central university.
To a certain extent, actually, with my association with college and college students and so forth, I see at least 50 to 60% with all respect to data science and all those things. I mean, most of the projects are done on data science. Actually, I feel that it is more than other technologies used. I mean, the web has gone, the data projects has gone, right? Or all those traditional projects or the morphings and all those things. Most of the kids, most of the college students are doing projects around data science, which means that they are taught. That is what I still now believe. But if there's a problem, we'll have to get to it.
No, and I think it's it's an important discussion to have, right? I remember, in 2018 when Nissan came in and we were looking at creating a pipeline of talent, right? It was not just about immediate hiring, but what 5 years from now? So we had actually discussions with Dr. Saji Gopinath and others who we were talking about the kind of skills or the kind of technologies that were coming up. So which means that the curriculum needs to also reflect that. So that is actually a good point that is being raised, and there are a lot of discussions. I understand within government, within the higher education system, within some of the universities, and that is where the industry academia partnership becomes even more relevant. Because the academia would only know if you are also part of the industry, you are in the industry, you are doing R&D, you know what are the things coming in. So that is one way, the curriculum and all of that. The second bit is again coming back to skilling, right? Because gone are the days where you're going to come out fresh as graduates and that's going to equip you for everything. You will need to kind of self-learn, and there are a lot of other avenues and certifications that are offered by multiple, you heard from multiple groups. So that is something that we all need to do. And as AI grows, it's not just AI, right? Because the biggest programming language now is, what is it? It's English. Because if you're talking to AI, it's natural language, right? Like we're not talking about coding anymore. We're not so it's prompt engineering. There are courses that are offered free in Coursera or any of these, platforms, where you have to go in and get yourself familiarized with such things. So multiple ways again to upskill.
Just to summarize and share on your to your ask, specifically intervening industry to the academia, there is always limitation. But I believe that is where the scope of ICTAK, Mueller, and all of them came in, because where they intervene on behalf of the industry, and also they pull in from the academia, where they try to imbibe to the academics and try to help them. Even the future skill that Nasscom has initiated as something. So I believe beyond whatever the limitations of the curriculum that we have, if we get exposed to these elements, I believe along with the regular curriculum, you will get acquainted with the technology or the necessary skills that you need to get adopted to the industry. So that may be a self-drive that we need to build in ourselves. And another element, like Suja has rightly mentioned, DUK is one which we have seen very explicitly. We are very aggressive on incorporating that element. And recently, like Sree was saying something on MuLearn, where there was another thing coming up on their initiative, namely Permute. So because of that, now many of the technology institutes have introduced this 6-month internship, right? So in 6-month internship, they are leaving it fully free. The students is being fully free from the curriculum, and they are expected to be with the industry during that entire 6 months, and they get the credit for that also. So that is one way of integration. I think we are seeing some change through that. Obviously, a lot more to go. Yeah.
So, I mean, since you touched upon that 6 months internship, but it wasn't there 1 year back. So when we, for BTech students actually, when we were taking internship for 6 months, and there was a KTU rule that you cannot have internship for 6 months, we actually approached the government. They actually incorporated that. I mean, so obviously if it is a fair ask, it will be getting incorporated.
These are suggestions that have been put forth, in multiple companies are asking for it. Because it's only in Kerala that we actually had a very short, like 1 month internship, if at all. In fact, outside, if you go to many of, whether private or public, and I'm sure, Kaamna, you know about it, most of the universities give the last year, it's 6 months to even up to a year. So in fact, when I was at Nissan, I had kids coming in, like their last year was spent working with us, getting that on-the-job training, and then they go back to the universities at the end of it, write their exams and get in. So we hire almost 1 year prior, right? Same thing in Zafin, we are already hired freshers this year. We are looking at, because some of the Kerala colleges we hired from don't have that internship model yet, they are coming into it. But the ones who are like from outside, NITs and all that, give that last year. So that's something, it's changing, but I'm glad to see that Kerala government has actually changed.
In fact, just to add that we have been working with some of the tech majors to provide these 6-month virtual internships to students from Future Skills Prime, and now look forward to work with ICT Academy to bring this virtual internship program to Kerala as well.
At large, to summarize, I think we had a very good discussion. And thank you so much for the eminent panel. I believe we have a lot more to talk. Even the regulation, academia, integration, all those were more or less the same questions I had in mind to ask, but you asked that same. So thank you so much for that. We did touch upon largely on the industry element at start, and thank you so much for your cooperation on giving so much of pulse. That is so much of insights for us also to learn. And we did touch base on the industry in terms of media, automotive, then banking. So large elements where AI is adopting. And we have also touched based on some elements how AI is impacting in terms of the employment prospect. So we did touch base that. So I'm sure some of the elements like future skills, ICTAK, MuLearn, all those are prospects for you to adopt. Then soft skills as a primary important area, we did touch base on attitude, then collaboration, communication, teamwork are some of the key elements that you should focus on. Then we did also touch base on some elements about the misconceptions. So that also I believe may have helped you in addressing some of the aspect. Then thank you for asking those risk-based setups. So at large, on summarizing towards the end, what we conclude is that early engagement with industry is the key for a better conversion to the job prospect. And there are possibilities for sure, irrespective of the disruptions we hear. And the only mindset we should have is actually adapt to the change. So that's what the key element I feel to summarize on behalf of the panel. Then, like Kaamna has pointed out, all of them have aligned to the same view. Like AI as such will not replace your prospective job, but if you fail to adapt to AI, obviously there is a higher chance. So with that, we conclude this panel discussion. I hope this was fruitful. Thank you so much for the panel and ICTAK for the opportunity.
Let me conclude this event by inviting Mr. Thomas Joseph, Head of Corporate Relations, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, such a prayer that cannot be seen or touched. It must be felt by heart. I feel honored and humbled to propose vote of thanks. First and foremost, I thank Mr. Sai Krishnamurthy, Technology Assurance Leader EY, for sharing his thoughts and expertise with us during the keynote address. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Mr. Sree Kumar V, Center Head Tata Elxsi Thiruvananthapuram, for graciously accepting our invitation to join as a panelist. Thank you, sir, for sharing your insights. A heartfelt thanks to Ms. Suja Chandy, Managing Director Zafin, for joining us as a panelist. Your presence and wisdom have truly enlightened us, Suja. Thank you. I also take this opportunity to express my gratitude to Ms. Kaamna Jain, Lead Communications and Collaboration Nasscom, for coming all the way from Delhi to enlighten us. Thank you. My sincere gratitude to Mr. George Oommen, Senior Manager IBM, for your valuable insights and observations. Thank you, George. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Jithin Chakkalakkal, our moderator, for vibrantly moderating the session at its most beautiful way. Thank you, Jithin. I also thank the representatives of Celonis and CDAC, Mr. Manjunath and Ms. Deepa, for signing a MOU with the ICT Academy of Kerala. I am sure that which will be beneficial to the member colleges associated with ICT Academy of Kerala. It is indeed my privilege to extend a heartfelt gratitude to all professors, faculty members, students from various member institutions of ICT Academy of Kerala. who traveled all the way to attend this session. Thank you. Last but not least, I thank our CEO, Mr. Muralidharan Manningal, the driving force behind ICT Academy of Kerala, and entire academic operating unit team for organizing this program. Thank you all.